Welcome to Keep Trucking Personal, where we invite you to explore the heart and soul of our company, Kivi Brothers Trucking. Through engaging storytelling, insightful market updates, and vibrant energy, our podcast reflects our culture, values, and achievements. Whether you're a team member or industry enthusiast, join us to build connections, foster growth, and inspire excellence. Discover why we're more than just a company. We're a community, a catalyst for positive change, and a home for those aspiring to be part of something extraordinary. The pre-trip is complete and engines ready. We're set to hit the road on the Keep Trucking Personal podcast. Let's go.
Welcome to Keep Trucking Personal. My name is Tyler Kivi, and I'm your host. So we're right on the heels of Thanksgiving, and I don't know about you, but I sure overindulged when it came to food for this past Thanksgiving. And I don't know, it was a small, subtle gathering. You know, I didn't have a lot of people over, but we sure did do it right. And I feel like watching football and eating food, and yeah, I overdid it. And I feel like the statistics there's so much they talk about on people doing are trying to avoid overeating or trying to avoid breaking this trajectory they were on with healthy eating and doing things as such. And yeah, I fell victim to that, fell prey to that. But I hope you had time and any listener here got to enjoy Thanksgiving, whether you were at home with family or you're out on the road, because we know truck drivers are not always at home for the holidays. And some, whether it's nature of the industry or they chose not to be home, but either way, we wanted to make sure that you got to enjoy this. And there's always a little downtime around the holidays, whether shippers are closed, you know, people aren't in the office. It's just how it works. So I hope you take this time, you get your batteries recharged, and you're ready to rock, because it kind of leads me into where we're headed for December, you know, and obviously the month has just started. We have what I'd like to call a sprint to finish this month. We have roughly 30 days to finish the year, but less than that, about 3 working weeks before Christmas. And those weeks are going to fly by. You know, we're already right on Tuesday here, the heels of Thanksgiving, already in the motions, and you got 3 weeks to accomplish what you want for the month of December, because Christmas hits, and then between Christmas and New Year's, you know, trucking is always a little up and down just because of closures and, you know, sometimes weather, but mostly just businesses being closed or not in the office. So the sprint, like what can you do to set yourself up for success for this, like I said, 3-week sprint? Well, let's focus on what we can achieve together. Let's focus on the no turn downs, like I've talked before. Let's focus on working hard. Let's focus on all of the little things to prepare ourselves for this sprint. And there's also some things that I want to make sure that I touch on, which often get overlooked. And it's little things, right? I'm just going to kind of ramble a list off here. There's no specific order, but things such as, let's start December with no bad inspections, no citations, anything. Let's focus on doing everything tip-top shape. And by that, if you have a requirement to wear glasses on your license, if you need contact lenses, any of that's and it's on your license, please make sure that you have them and you're wearing them. I know sometimes people get it where they're like, I don't need them to drive, I need them for this, but under the DOT, the regulations, the laws, you get pulled over for an inspection and you're not wearing those corrective lenses, you can get put out of service. So little things like that. Let's focus on logbooks. Make sure we're doing everything we can to start this month off right. Fill those things out. Put everything you can, populate it. If it's there, fill it. And when you change trailers, when you change shipments, keep it updated. Focus on doing that right. We don't want to get any unnecessary citations. Another thing I want to touch on, and I think sometimes seems like common sense, because when you're doing an oversized load, that's just what you would think, right? But when you are under an oversized load, whether it's wide or high, be paranoid about the dimensions. And I mean that in the right manner, in a good manner. Be paranoid about it. Double measure, triple measure. Do not run with complacency here and say, oh, I'm usually this tall, or I'm usually this wide. DOT, even though you have a permit, still will measure. And that's just the DOT. That's like the regulation side of it. But the practical side is if your DIMs aren't correct, you could get put into a situation that you do not want to be put in. If you're measuring lower than your actual height is, well, you're vulnerable for bridge hits. You're vulnerable for getting wires. Or if you're wider than you've listed on your permit request or your permit, you could end up in a construction site that you cannot fit in. And that is the last thing you want to happen. So let's focus on doing the little things right. I feel like the sprint we're in and the things that matter the most are always the little things. Calling ahead to your shipper or receiver, put in that extra effort, do above and beyond, because winter hours are never what we think they are, right? Some people close early, you get snow, we have cold, the little nuances that for us in the trucking side, we deal with gelling up. If your fuel isn't treated properly or you get some bad fuel and you fall prey to the cold weather, well, you could have the possibility of gelling up. And that's the same for shippers. Things happen uncontrollable. So put in that extra effort this month. Pay attention to the little details. Go above and beyond. And let's set ourselves up for this little sprint and be successful. One of the other things I want to challenge everyone in this month, actually I have two things, but the first thing we're going to talk about is doing the right thing. And that seems like it would just be common practice, but let's focus on doing the right thing whenever we're doing it. When no one's watching, it's the most important, because that's character. We want to make sure that the character that we're challenging this industry, right? Like we've said it on multiple episodes, this is our industry. We control this industry. And I, in particular, want to make sure that we bring back the old school version of trucking. I think that this industry needs that. And you don't have to be from that era to carry the old school values that are there, but doing the right thing, those type of values that I feel like sometimes can get lost, are important in building a successful transportation industry, specifically our company, right? That's our number one goal. We want to challenge you. We want to do the hard things. We want to do the hard things right. We want to do the right thing over and over again. So anything you can, stretch out of your comfort zone maybe and do the right thing. Maybe you're used to bending the rules here a little bit or there. Let's take this month and reboot. It doesn't have to be a New Year's resolution plan to do the right thing. We can start out now. We can start looking out for each other. That's just the nuts and bolts of it. Let's do the right thing. But I also want to challenge each and every one of you for December to focus on giving instead of receiving. Focus on giving instead of receiving. Cold weather, winter months, those months can have an impact on our mental health. And believe it or not, you can control that with the subtle giving. And I don't mean in all monetary. I don't mean, paying for somebody's this or that. I mean, let's talk about when you're at a shipper and somebody's struggling to tarp. Sure, you could sit in your truck and watch, but why not get out and help? Why not get out and help? When you think about doing the right thing and giving, it's a recipe for success. Doing the right thing, you pull into the truck stop and there's some trash laying there. Why not pick it up? Why not help protect this industry? Why not do the things that we want? We as truck drivers complain about this. Rest areas being dirty, truck stops being filthy. Do the right thing and help clean it up. Spend some time. Talk about giving, helping another driver tarp, helping another driver back in, because paying it forward, especially in this time of year, is an easy way to build up your mental health and feel good about what's going on. Because like I said, we're in a short sprint. Sometimes that's challenging when you look at the aspect for people's revenue, right? There's downtime during the holidays, but that doesn't mean your bills stop. Your bills don't take a break for Christmas or New Year's, do they? No, they keep coming. So I understand the pain and the pressure that comes both ways on this. And that's why it can be mentally stressful. Trucking is not an easy game. Trucking takes a lot. And in this season of the year, in this December month, Christmas right around the corner, New Year's, let's focus on giving. Anything you can think of to pay it forward is important. And that's the company that we want to build. And that's the type of people we want here, is the ones that look out for their coworkers and the ones that look for things they can do to help the people alongside them. And like I've said several times, this is not just a Kiwi situation. This is a trucking industry situation. So giving that extra little bit of help. And I don't know if everyone knows, but when you give, it releases positive chemicals in your brain. And those chemicals can improve your mood. They can reduce stress. They can increase your sense of well-being. It just helping others gives you a sense of purpose and connection, which is powerful, especially during the holiday season. So much to take away there. And I think there's room to eventually just go on that and have a full episode of talking about just mental health and giving and the nuts and bolts of like the oxytocin and the chemicals it releases in your brain, because it is kind of interesting, and to understand what you can do just by giving, helping somebody cross the street, helping somebody tarp, helping somebody roll their straps up, helping somebody with directions, helping somebody, I mean, you name it, helping a shipper if there's, challenges. There's so many things in this industry that we as truck drivers like to complain about. You should see this, you should see this driver, you should see that. But instead of complaining, let's help. Let's be the voice of reason here, and let's help. Let's do what we can, because we will be, without a doubt, in that position where we need help someday. And I know that we want to feel that returned to us. And that, trust me, it feels good on the receiving end too. We all know that. So 2 challenges: do the right thing for the month of December, focus on all the little things that we have out there, whether it's corrective lenses required, measuring your loads, logbooks, pre-trip inspections. We know snow is in and on the ground. It's in the air in multiple places, but it's on the ground, and it's here to stay for the following months. So pay attention to the little things. Let's not set ourselves up for failure. We can do it. And then we can hit this sprint, this less than 3 weeks, less than 30 days for the whole month of December before we walk into a brand new year of 2025. And then I think we'll start to set some New Year's goals, but we don't need a new year to kick that off. So really focus on taking advantage of it now, do the right thing, focus on giving and helping and doing any little, and even the giving could be helping your driver manager or vice versa, the driver manager helping the driver in a different and a unique way in going above and beyond, because that's the type of people that this company employs. That's the type of people that this industry needs, and we need to keep diving in on that. Last but not least, for this episode, I want to talk about safety and preparation. I kind of touched on some of it in the little subtleties of measuring your load and so on, but it is, and I can't stress this enough, how important paying attention to your safety and your safety score. And as drivers that don't even have any of this technology in their truck, doing the extra thing, increasing your following distance, being prepared for the winter months, treating your fuel, guys and gals, I cannot preach that enough. Knowing when and where you're headed, paying attention to the weather. There's a lot that goes on when it comes to being a truck driver, and the list grows and grows. And obviously when you come into these winter months, it just adds more: tire chains, fuel additive. But paying attention to the fuel additive, you do not want to get stuck somewhere in the cold weather and not prepared. This is also the time to pay attention and increase what you stock in your truck. Do you need to put some extra water in there? Do you need to have some more food? Because there are situations, and it is happening, where weather shuts the roads down, and you could be in a situation where you're not able to make it to a truck stop or somewhere for 12 hours, for 24 hours. Who knows? Every winter season seems to bring a different element to it. But I just want to make sure that you focus on that. Focus on 3 points of contact. When you're climbing into your truck, you're getting off your truck, you're getting into your headache rack, preparing where you put your chains instead of trying to do everything in a rush, like preparing how you put your straps, how you roll your straps. Sometimes what you put in is how it comes out, in a sense, right? Like what you put into the system is the higher quality you put in, the higher quality that comes out. And that's the same for all of the preparation we talk about. I know in our orientation, and even issuing little bottles of oil for preparing your binders and keeping them well greased so that they're not rusty or stuck and bound up, all of that comes with preparation. And when you're a truck driver, you have so many things that you're in control of: your tractor, your trailer, your load, your credentials, your actual logbook. And the list, like I said, there's so many things. So there's a long list. I think taking this and sitting down and asking yourself, and I know I'm guilty of, there's so many things that when we get in a rush, we get in a hustle, we can start to, okay, that's not a priority. But how do we put it, how do we put it back on the forefront? How do we make sure that it's there and it's prioritized? And sometimes that's just sitting down, writing a list, what, or even just challenging yourself. Like I said, I've already challenged you twice. How can you challenge yourself on safety? Like, what can you do above and beyond? And I think it's important to know that our mission as a trucking company is to be the safest. And I know that a safe company is a sustainable company. What can you do to contribute to that? Because you're not just a number here. Every single driver plays into the success of this company. I love that concept, and I think it gets overshadowed often because people think, well, I'm just it'll flush out. I'm just one, I'm just one of hundreds. Not a big deal. Not true. Not true in this industry. Not true with the FMCSA. The way they weight things, it makes it where every situation is important. There's not just always a couple things happen, big deal, wash it out and move on. Everything that happens in this industry has a timestamp, has a mark on it. And of course, in the DOT, CSA scores, how often you get pulled into the scale. Everything is a result of what we've done. Our future definitely is impacted by what we've done. And in the DOT, that's a 24-month rolling scale. So what happens today, you might be like, oh, okay, next week I'll feel better about it, right? That tire, that DOT where they wrote me up on a flat, or an out of service tire, a time goes on, things start to, the pain eases, right? Well, doesn't ease that fast in the DOT's eyes. 2 years is a long time. That tire, you might have had it fixed in 20 minutes. They might have taken 3 hours for a service truck to fix. You're back on the road and rolling. That is with us for 24 months. And it's with you for a very long time on your personal driving record. So just take this time. I'm going to do it internally. The month of December for me, I've challenged myself extremely hard. I want to make sure that, specifically the company on a safety level, I want to operate with 0 incidents. And I know that might be common sense to somebody that has 1 truck, 3 trucks. They're like, hey, we don't ever have any incidents. Well, the nature of the beast says the more volume you get out there, the more opportunities for things to happen. I want to make sure that I take this time and focus on setting our drivers up for success, being proactive instead of reactive, giving more information than typical. That's my internal challenge. How can I set us up for success, top down? And little subtleties, like I said, putting information in loads that are not typically there, trying to give phone numbers, or trying to call ahead, trying to make sure that the driver is equipped properly, trying to look 2-3 loads ahead, trying to make sure our customers are well informed and we do the right thing, trying to gain customer base so we have more freight to move. This, you guys, you can see where I'm headed. So this isn't me just spewing this information out expecting our driver workforce. This is me trying to live through this, and as well as our whole back office, our whole office staff, challenging them to go above and beyond and deliver performance in the month of December, because like I said, we all need it. Cold, snow, those gloomy days, they can take an impact on you. And if we do things right, and if we focus on giving and we focus on being safe and prepared, I'm very confident that the month of December will be prosperous for everyone. So please take the time, reach out to me if you have any questions, if you have any advice to give me. I'm more than willing to listen. I'm excited to hear what you have to say. Next week, I want to unpack some more of the old school ways of trucking. I'm eager. Like, if you can't tell, this type of stuff is what I was raised on. It's the type of stuff that at our dinner table during holiday meals, semis were in the parking lot. Doesn't matter if it was at a home or at an event center. There was semis around. We were there. I've grew up in it. We've lived it. I've seen my grandpas do this. It's just, there's something about the old school trucking that needs to come back. This industry needs it to survive. We can't just continue down this path of no unity. We have to come together. We have to be strong. And that's where I'm leading next week. We're going to talk about one of the key focus points that I think helps us represent this industry and helps us represent it well. So I'm eager to do that, excited. Hope everyone's recovered well from all that food, like I said, and let's be safe and let's do it. So until next time, happy trucking.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Keep Trucking Personal. We appreciate you taking the time to explore the heart and soul of Kivi Brothers Trucking with us. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review to let us know your thoughts. Tune in next time as we continue our journey together, diving deeper into what makes us a community, a catalyst for positive change, and a home for those who aspire to be part of something truly extraordinary. Until then, keep trucking, and we'll catch you on the next episode.